Welcome to Watchmen Waiting on the Lord. I'm going to give you a new story that's going to change a lot of things. I just heard this. From Watchwoman 65, and I tell you, this is a game changer. I had to read this story, and it happened at such an opportune time. I'm also going to read at the end of this who these countries in Psalm 83 are, because I wanted to put that in my last video, but I didn't. And before I start this, I just want to say today is the day to get saved. How do you get saved? Ask Jesus Christ into your heart. If you think it's stupid, you don't know how to do it. How do I do it? Nothing's going to happen to me when I ask. You know, you can pray, you can say whatever you want, and it doesn't, you know, even if it sounds stupid to you, it's not stupid to God. God, please, you know, if you're real, this is a bad time in history. Please answer me. Tell me that you're real. When you feel genuine like that, and it doesn't have to always be like that, God can choose to bring anyone close to him if he wants. But do that. Why not? Don't you want to find out? And it doesn't mean it's going to happen today. It doesn't mean it's going to happen next week, but a lot of people it does. So considering these stories, I think it's probably your best bet, because the other option isn't a good option. This is huge. This is like Sputnik when Russia launched Sputnik. It was nothing. It was just, what was it? It was like they put a monkey in that satellite, but still it scared everyone on Earth, well, especially in the collective West, the United States. I know this is big, and I think, just my opinion, from looking at war for a long time and the weapons, you're about to find out if there are other secret weapons. So listen to this. 24 kill massacre. Su-57 with R-37M missile inflicts unreal losses on Ukrainian Air Force. U.S. concerns for F-16 and F-35s. F-16s, yes, but F-35s? They're stealth, so I don't know. So this is where you find out. Isn't it a funny time when this is happening, eh? Right before they're going to do a ground invasion. Excuse me, pardon me, I went on another long bike ride like yesterday. Russia used as yet unknown weapon system which shot down 24 Ukrainian fighters in 5 days, causing great concern in Kiev and the West for two main reasons. So listen, why is it so special? The Ukrainian jets never saw the Russian missile and were far from the contact line. So they're either really quick or they are just stealth. I wonder if the United States has some too, and they've just kept it a secret. I guess we'll find out. Russian military expert Vladislav I hate mispronouncing names. Shurgin emphasized that all the aircraft were shot down far from the front line and out of range of Russian air defense systems, as well as out of the typical range of Russian missiles. Those pilots who managed to eject reported that until the moment their planes were hit, they received no warning information about the attack from the appropriate warning systems. I wonder if the U.S. warning systems would work. The Russian Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu, in his statements confirmed that these are new systems available to the Russian army. Russia chose, I don't know, you know, this is a game changer, but does it mean they can win? I don't think so, because there's a lot of other trump cards that can be played. but it's big. Russia chose this moment in time to unveil its new weapon for two main reasons. First, because of the imminent arrival of the F-16s, and secondly, because of Iran. And Iran was just at the UN in the United States. Do you think that's a coincidence? They never go there for these reasons. And the new Russian weapon system is indeed that effective. Then NATO is trashing dozens of F-16 fighters. I wouldn't say so yet, but in addition, the West, you keep them grounded, is also starting to worry about the F-35. The Americans believe that the Russian aerospace forces have acquired new missiles capable not only of hitting targets at long distance, but after launch are guided autonomously without receiving information from the aircraft's radar. Hitting at long distance, but after launch. Yeah. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu went to a frontline area in Ukraine to inspect a command post and hold talks with senior military officials, the Russian armed forces said. Shoigu arrived by helicopter at Vostok command post in eastern Ukraine, according to a video released by the military. The Russian minister was briefed on the current situation at the front as well as on the training of Russian special units responsible for the use of unmanned aerial vehicles. Shoigu also held talks. Keep in mind also that they gave those ATACMS missiles, so they're pissed off. Shoigu also held talks with high-ranking military officials about winter preparations in terms of uniforms and heating equipment for soldiers, without specifying when the visit took place. There's a lot of Russians still dying. I see the reports, both sides. As reported by Russian media, Shoigu claimed that the Russian forces had acquired some new weapon systems, thanks to which they shot down 24 aircraft in recent days. The Air Force, and this would be a big alarm, okay? The Air Force of the Armed Forces of the Ukraine lost 24 in 5 days thanks to the new systems that appeared in service with the Russian army. However, he didn't specify what kind of systems these were or when their deliveries began. The main anti-aircraft systems used by the Russian military in the zone of the Northern Military District are BUK, Buk, Tor, and Pantsir air defense systems. They also operate the S-300 and S-400 aircraft systems, anti-aircraft systems, and possibly the 350 Vityaz, but there's no information about this open source. The latest anti-aircraft system adopted by the Russian military is the S-500 Prometheus, but it's intended to cover large industrial areas and residential areas. Pardon me, I gotta take a sip of water here. Takes me a bit to swallow. According to the correspondent in Russia, Thanasis Avgerinos, why couldn't this stuff happen here on our side so we could read this in English? No, I'm just kidding. Well, lucky actually. I read that the so far unknown Russian missile, which was allegedly used to seriously damage some of the last likely Ukrainian aircraft, has particularly worried the United States, because under these conditions the F-35 could be threatened, any aircraft, F-22, negating their advantages. And then you have all Europe thinking about this now. It's reported that the Ukrainian aircraft were destroyed without even activating their protection system, which informs when it is targeted by a foreign missile system and activate countermeasures. So is someone else at the other end with like a camera pointing this? Somehow they detect them and they're steering them autonomously at Mach, whatever it is. I don't know what they said. Was it Mach 10 or 27? who knows? I don't know what weapon. At the same time, it's announced that the Kinzel-type missiles, which are able to change course in flight, have been tested. It's confirmed that the world's largest weapons test site is now the soil of the ill-fated Ukraine. Su-57 with the R-37M. The typical loss rate of the Ukrainian Air Force during the first 3 quarters of this year was 1 to 3 planes or helicopters per week. As of mid-October, Russian daily reports supported the takedown. 17 MiG-29s, 2 Su-24s, 3 Su-25s. I think the Su-25 is like the equivalent of the Thunderbolt of the US, but the Thunderbolt's better. The L-39 trainer, those are pretty old, and M18, or the MiG-8 helicopter. This is a total of 26 flights in just 9 days. The first and most likely option that the Russians used, S-35 or Su-37 most likely, with the R-37M missile. The R-37 was developed from the R-33. The R-37 missile designation has been used for a modernized variant of the missile, also known as the RVVBD. Raketa Vozdu. Man, I'm not going to say this. You can read this yourself. A long-range air-to-air missile. When I read and tried to study war by myself for about 20 years, I had a problem like learning maps and names, where a lot of battles happened, a lot of people. You have to get used to that because like you got to learn Russian names, German names. It's just there's so many of them. The R-37 is claimed to have a maximum of range of 400 kilometers, 250 miles, and a supersonic speed of Mach 5 to 6. It can be launched from safe airspace beyond any range of Ukrainian air defenses. The sudden increase, this could bring up to an increased DEFCON type situation. Certainly a panic inside some militaries. The sudden increase, and that's not good for the Russians either, okay? That's not good for them. The sudden increase in Ukrainian air casualties indicates the introduction in large numbers of a new variant of the 37M with updated targeting capability and even greater range. The U.S. plans to import F-16 fighter jets with long range, 60 miles, AIM-120D air-to-air missiles into Ukraine. They have very good missiles. The states have the best missiles, or at least they did. They're clearly inferior, like jet-to-jet type thing, or jet-to-ground. They're clearly inferior to the capabilities of the Russian Air Force with the R-37M. Okay, this is long. This is the last part here. The second option, S-400 with A-50 AWACS. Other Russian sources speak of a combination of the S-400 Triumph with the A-50 AWACS. According to TASS report citing an unnamed Russian official, the combination worked perfectly and led to the downing of at least one Ukrainian fighter. TASS reported that the S-400 was used in conjunction with the A-50 AWACS in the ongoing special military operation. During the operation, Russia used the S-400 Triumph air defense system in conjunction with the A-50 long-range radar detection aircraft, which ensured the success of the system's use against enemy aviation. The report said it's stealth. How else would it not be seen? The speed, I don't think so. Mach 5 to 6 certainly would be seen on a radar. It's just, I believe the U.S. has the same thing. Why wouldn't the U.S., the inventors of stealth technology, they must. They have to have one. The U.S. tends to be This is what they say. They say when you see military parades like Russia, like in Red Square, China, all places of the world doing military parades, the reason, like North Korea, the reason that they do that in those countries is because they feel inferior. That's why they do it. They're showcasing their muscle. No, it's not always like that, but I know that's the reason. And then they have a parade of their nuclear missiles. The United States doesn't feel a need to do that. And I think we're about to find out. We could. I hope not. What, if there's a, I can't think of the, like a, not an increase, I can't think of the word right now, in the war. I can't find the word in my mind, but it's getting worse. Hard to think because of my abdomen, man. The S-400 air defense system was fired at its maximum range at targets that at the time of the disaster were at altitude of 1,000 meters while using new anti-aircraft guided missile warheads. The missile launch could be the 40N-6E missile with the most extended range of 400 km. The TASS report claimed that the S-400 was launched at its maximum range. Of course, it's possible that the Russians have used both system options. Pardon me, give me a second. So if there are secret weapons, like, you think of, what if they do have lasers? I know they have lasers. You know what else they have? There's 7 countries that admit to having lasers, and the U.S. is the leading one. You hear a lot about that, with Maui and stuff. I don't know the truth of that, but it looked very suspicious. Of course they have lasers. I've seen them take down drones with them over 10 years ago. How powerful are they now? And an escalation is what I mean. An escalation, all of a sudden you start seeing lasers and whatever. Who knows if, you think of HARP and stuff like that. Can they control weather? Can they make earthquakes? It's not unbelievable. To create sonic waves underneath the ground isn't impossible. Pardon me, I'm going to take another sip. I'm really out of breath. And I'm going to read this to you, which is interesting. It's just short. This is from the Trumpet, the Psalm 83 Alliance. Give me a sec. I have dysphonia of my throat. I know I've said that before. I don't know why I have it. I got it diagnosed. It's not psychological. It just happened like literally overnight. And I was left that way. I was very sick a long time ago. And I've gotten it better, but don't know the cause. It's very frustrating. Okay, so I'm going to leave both of these in the description box. This is from the Trumpet. The Psalm 83 Alliance, a prophesied military alliance, is about to come on the scene and shock the world. I don't know what date this is. In recent years, and I don't know if Germany is involved in this, has steadily improved relations with moderate Arab nations. Multiple bonds have developed, including weapons sales, energy deals, and military agreements. The development of this German-Arab alliance is fulfillment of a specific end-time prophecy. So I don't know, I'm just reading this. The Trumpet terms it the Psalm 83 Alliance. I'm just giving you the other meaning of them, of the countries in Psalm 83. Verses 6 to 8 of Psalm 83 revealed the ancient identity of the nations in the alliance. Historians and Bible scholars recognize that these nations have never formed an alliance. Germany and Turkey did, though. You think of World War I? This is strong evidence that it's a prophecy yet to be fulfilled. A study into national origins reveals generally who these nations are today. So, ASSUR, Acer, or Acer, is they say is Germany. And so I'm not too sure if I agree with that, but I guess we'll see. Edom / Amalek is Turkey. Ishmaelites are Saudi Arabia and other neighboring nations. Moab and Ammon is Jordan. The Hagarenes, Syria. Gabal is Lebanon. Tyre is southern Lebanon, Hezbollah. So there's Tyre is Hezbollah, so you read in the Old Testament. That's Hezbollah. And the Philistines is Gaza. Because of Turkey's inclusion in this prophecy, we also watch for the development of German-Turkish ties. Psalm 83:4 states that the goal of this alliance is to destroy the modern day of Israel. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off and being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." God uses the Psalm 83 alliance led by Germany to punish the nations of America, Britain and Israel, for the rebellion against his law. Isaiah 10:5. And I'm not saying I agree with this because I really haven't looked it over, but I wanted to read this to let you know who those were. Thanks for watching this.